Do do do. Hey everybody. I don't know if you were just watching my oh, let me see. I'm just trying to get back to my chat with Mike McManus. Were you all there? Was it good? Let's see. What's good, everybody? Hello, hello. I'm just gonna actually join from there. Oh, wow. A lot of people in here. Hi, everybody. Wow, hey, Chloe, how are you? Hi, everybody. I was just in a chat with my good... There we go. Trying to finish my chat that I was having with the great Mike McManus. Massapequa fame.
Hey,
There
buddy.
you are. Hey,
I don't know
I
what
think we hit...
Yeah.
We hit 1 hour, and it kicks you off after an hour.
I didn't realize that. Okay, cool. I think I just posted it to my Instagram because I wasn't sure if it saved the video or not, but hopefully it did.
Okay.
Maybe you could save it on your end just in case. But anyway, we're back.
We're back. So we were talking about how important it is for there to be a local scene for people to come to, to have in their town, and that I'm personally worried that it's going to go away, these smaller venues, but I don't know.
Yeah,
you were in the middle of talking.
No, it's definitely scary. I mean, it's a scary time for small businesses, even outside of music. But I don't know. I don't know. I hope that after this, people are still willing to take a chance on trying a business, that's not necessarily like just chasing a dollar. I mean, because let's be honest, like opening a restaurant or opening a venue or doing anything like that is fucking scary. And now that we have this example of COVID, like, could you imagine the amount of people that would have potentially started a business or even had a dream or something, and then they go, well, if another COVID hits, I'm gonna be fucked. So I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not even gonna try.
It raises so many problems, especially in the entertainment industry here in Los Angeles. If one person comes down with the disease, it jeopardizes 100 people. There are so many people that. And Zelda, my friend Zelda is recommending SaveOurStages.com, which is great. I actually I posted a while back. Live Nation is also doing work to help support small businesses or the crew members who put on the shows. So these are all great places for everybody watching to go and help support, because this is, Mike and I have been talking, for people who may be new to this chat. I've known Mike for 15 years. We first bonded when I was, growing up in Massapequa. Mike is a year and a half, 2 years older than me, and he was in a great band called Festizio, and today he's promoting his new album by his new band Gamblers. This is the background. My background is the album Small World. And in between talking about just where we've been these last 10 years, we've been talking about how formative it was to bond over music. And I think it's a valuable thing to have a local scene where people can go and meet other people who might be of a different orientation or race or creed, and get to know them. It's all the same in the mosh pit. And boy, did we used to mosh at those Festizio shows. So it was wonderful for me to be able to get to know people who were different and older and could show me cool things. If you guys have the time, definitely Save Our Stages. The Live Nation one, what was that? What is their charity called? I'm spacing. But if you just type in Live Nation Crew Charity, then it should come up. So, Popstar, my friend Popstar Nima, supporting small businesses is hot. Thank you very much.
It is. It's very sexy. It's my family has a small business in the city called Peter McManus Cafe. It's the oldest family-owned and operated bar in New York City history. If that wasn't pompous enough, but my point is, like, it's fucking scary for them, and they have a track record. They're established almost a fucking 100 years,
right.
and we're having to think about that. So imagine you know, the next person who goes and wants to start something, it's just sad, you know. I hope in 10 years it's not like, you know, our whole country is working for fucking Amazon,
or Apple, or
did you
yeah,
see the movie Sorry to
Disney.
Bother You by any chance?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, like I don't want that to happen.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I don't. I sometimes just write short stories for fun, and I wrote one that takes place in Starbucks stall number 1283. It's a world where everybody works at Starbucks,
Yeah.
and it's one woman trying to find her daughter, who works at Starbucks, but
Right.
she's just moving from stall to stall because Starbucks separates us all at birth. It puts us
Nice.
into labor camps. Maybe I'll put it up. It was kind of funny.
Wait,
But
so I
yeah,
wanna.
we're slowly moving toward the thing that I'm very worried about is movie theaters. You know, I feel so lucky that, you know, I got in right before the sea change. You know, I got to be in a movie, the Virginity hit, where I was the star, even if it was not a big success, which it was not. It got a Blockbuster video release. I have the DVD from Blockbuster.
Was it in Blockbuster?
And it was, and it has the sign that's, you know, like $3.99 value deal, you know, rent here, little sticker. But when I first moved out to Los Angeles, it was before YouTube. It was before stream. Not before YouTube, but sorry, before Instagram. It was before the idea of a YouTube star. You know, we maybe had a couple of people who were just starting, but before influencers, all of that, before TikTok.
Yeah.
And to see it slowly move over away from going into the movie theaters, which is also just as important, you know, as a concert venue. You know, I was a member of this movie theater out here called Cinefamily, which is now they closed for good reason, new management, but it's small. It's got one screen, and it's very highly focused on independent cinema. We also have the New Beverly, which is all about 35 millimeter. That's Quentin Tarantino's theater.
Right.
And these places need help, and they need to be supported. So I'm sorry if I'm getting off on a soapbox here and we're moving farther from gamblers. It's just, while we've got the kids here, I think it's important, you know, it's not just about, you know, what's on Instagram. I think going out and maybe meeting somebody that has a similar interest, you know, seeing them in person is equally important.
And not to sound like a couple of old guys, even though I'm older than you, but like, you know, that
you're like a year and a half older than me.
And I look like 20 years older. So I gotta get my shit together.
I shaved before this. I shaved this morning.
No, but yeah, man, like that human connection that you make, or not even the human connection, but the connection you make with a place and a memory, and you know, whether it's a movie theater or the record store, or I mean, dude, you remember going to Tower Records when we were kids, like.
I loved, I loved Tower Records so much. But, you know, there are little tiny places, you know, we have Amoeba here in Los Angeles, moving locations. There's local record stores. It's so important to go and support them. You know, we just had Record Store Day, and I was in New York, and I found my local record store, the closest one to my location. And I went, and I helped support. You know, it's great because those guys, there's one place close to where I live where I'll go in, and the guy will be like, have you ever heard Crazy Horses by the Osmonds? And I'm like, no. You know, like, you mean like Donnie and Marie? And he goes, yes. They put out a heavy metal record. And check out the song Crazy Horses. It's so good, and it slaps so hard. And the next song, Life is Hard Enough Without Goodbye, could be a Black Sabbath song. And I would have had no idea. You know, you can only get so much from one-sided, you know, reading one-sided conversations on your favorite forum. But going out and having somebody be like, I know you. You're going to like Blonde on Blonde. You'll be like, all right, hand it to me. You know, and that was what was, you know, it's, I really valued having older friends like you, like Tom, you know, like Jen and Liz and Johnny used to wear the Bronx, that t-shirt, all the time. And I was like, what's the Bronx? Yeah. And listening to them, it blew my mind. Nick Lee, or maybe it was Ray Marte from Exemption Now Moontooth. I was over at their house, and they put on Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age. Yeah. And the opening, the ding 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 da, 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 into Millionaire is just, I couldn't believe it. You know, this is not what my boomer dad used to play me. Love
Yeah,
my dad, but my dad would be like, listen to Bob Dylan, listen to the Rolling Stones.
sure.
But anyway, I'm talking way too much.
Dude, I completely agree with all of that. There's a couple of people that I kind of can count on one hand that were like super formative for me, in terms of not just music, but just, like you said, it seems like it's like your life, and one of those people is my friend who I'm now friends with, Damian Napoli, who is an amazing DJ and just a fucking music wizard, encyclopedia of music. But he was the cool record store guy who worked at
Mm.
Infinity Records on Park Boulevard in Massapequa.
Yep.
And I mean, I was afraid to talk to him when I went in there. It was like, he was so cool. I was like, I can't possibly talk to him. He's way too cool. I know Tom Moran thought the same. And but he was so like kind, and like he would show us cool things, and he would talk to us about Jeff Buckley, and
Wow.
Did you ever have well, before I get into that, before I forget this, you mentioned.
Did I ever have a Jeff Buckley phase?
No.
So you're gonna ask?
Well, I love Jeff Buckley. No, you brought up Record Store Day, and something that I wanted to mention. The reason there's 3 record store days. They split them up into 3 days this year, and one of the reasons that we chose the release date of September 25th is it's the Friday before the second Saturday of Record Store Day for this year. So
Great.
when we chose to put out the album, we got the distribution deal that we did. We were able to enter this partnership with something that's called CIMS, which is the Coalition of Independent Music Stores. Mm-hmm. So Small World will be carried in all CIMS retailers.
You mean this Small World?
Yeah, that's the one. So I mean, it's so cool for me personally, because I just put on Instagram the other day, you could go into Tower Records database and you could find our title, but it's almost cooler that we're going to be in all these record stores, because it's I'll be honest, it's one of those things that you just feel like man, like we made this happen, to physically be able to see something that's going to be carried across all the parts of the country. It's a feeling of accomplishment, but it's also just it's important to support those stores, and I hope people do. I know that I saw like Record Store Day was down like 50% in sales from what it was last year,
really,
which is understandable. I every fucking business is down, but
it's been fascinating how certain record stores have found ways around it. I don't want to. I'll blow up my spot. Okay, there is a record store here in Los Angeles called Permanent Records that I follow on Instagram, and they almost daily will put records up for sale on their Instagram so they can keep their brick and mortar, their brick store open. They will sell records online throughout COVID. I have bought so many records from them. They have such a great selection, and it's great. And it may feel like now you can't go outside. It's not a good idea. It's too risky. So find the next best thing, which is finding your local record store and encouraging them maybe to branch out their online presence, start selling their wares online, because when this is all over and we can go out and have fun and enjoy ourselves safely, you want these places to be there. There are too many places. I'm sure everybody watching knows one place near them that's now gone forever that meant something to them. Absolutely. So, and I'm a softie at heart. I've been drinking this entire time out of a Blockbuster, Nalgene.
That is so cool, man. Dude, I didn't know that the Virginity hit was in Blockbuster. That makes it. You know what I do remember is like not just that meeting that we had at the bar with those directors who were so cool. But I remember, because I was living in the city at the time. I was in college at the time, and I remember part of the marketing campaign for that movie. Because your billboard for the Virginity hit was fucking everywhere. Like it was it was fucking everywhere in every time I take the subway anywhere, I'm like, whoa, Matt. And wasn't there like some phone number to call or something? Yeah, so
it said, still a virgin, call this number. And you'd call, and I think it would be sex tips, or it would be like movie times. I can't remember now, but yeah, I mean, it was, for a while, it was all over the place, and it was so weird. They really hyped it up for us. We were so excited, and then, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's a sleeper hit. Maybe people will discover it in the near future.
Yeah. Has that ever gone out to any streaming services? Or
I think Crackle. I think it's on Crackle.
Okay.
But it might not be anymore. I don't know. When I went to Blockbuster, I found the copy and they were closing, so I was like, "Can I buy this?" And they said, "Sure." And I look at it and I go, "Wow, did a lot of people check this one out?" And the guy straight up scoffed. He went, "No." I was like, "No." The virginity hit. No. Like,
did you tell him? You didn't tell him?
I think I was too embarrassed to be like, "Oh, because this is me." No, it was weird. They really hyped it up. It was like they're like, "You're going to be the next Michael Cera. This is the next Superbad."
Yeah, I remember.
And it didn't. It was such a great lesson in humility because I started walking around like, "Oh, I'm the next Michael Cera," and when it didn't go that way, when it went quite the opposite, when it really did not do well, I was in such a weird, rare, and I know how lucky it was. Now that I've been here and I've been in this industry for most of my adult life.
Right.
This weird position where I had a fallback. I was on a Nickelodeon show, and that was very, that did so great, and the ripples keep flowing. It's this weird ongoing thing.
The Victorious fan base is ridiculous.
They've been in here. I see it all.
I see that.
I see it all. I don't know. Do you want to open it up for some questions? I don't know. I mean, I think.
Sure.
I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna ask anything.
Robbie Shapiro, but go for it.
No, I mean, like, I saw somebody mention Jeanette Jam, which is about you.
That's.
I saw the Jen Pelly question. I mean.
No, I
could ask more questions. What are you?
Open it up.
Yeah, ask some questions.
This is fun.
Mike, what kind of music have you
saved though? That's what I'm nervous about. I hope it's the first part saved to my camera roll. Probably did, right?
I mean, I hope so. While they maybe think of some questions to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually met Michael Cera. He is very nice. He's not mean. What have you been listening to recently? Oh, Jen Pelly's got questions. Shoot, Jen, please.
I've been listening to Faith Hill, which is not a joke. I like Faith Hill.
Okay, what album? This person has favorite music albums of all time.
Okay,
that's a great question. I mean,
mine's Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
You know what I have over here? This was the first album I ever bought with my own money. This is Weird Al Yankovic, Running with Scissors, signed by Weird Al himself. I think this sums up my music taste pretty well. I mean, it's like this. I grew up with They Might Be Giants.
Dude, that's a great record, dude. Fucking I'm blanking. What's the 10-minute album closer on that?
Albuquerque. I saw him on this last tour that he was on. No, the one right before where he was doing rarities, and he played all of Albuquerque. Well, yes, he played all of Albuquerque. There were 2 nights that he was playing, and the first night I went, he didn't. So I bought tickets and I saw him the next night, and he played Albuquerque, and it was worth it. It was just 2 nights straight of Weird Al music.
I saw him at the Apollo. Well, I've seen him 2 or 3 times. I think I've seen him twice at Westbury. And,
I saw him at Westbury too.
I saw him at the Apollo in 2018, I think, and he played Albuquerque. And Evil Amos opened up for him. Am I saying that right? What's his name? No, not Evil Amos. Emo Phillips.
Emo Phillips?
Yeah, Emo Phillips.
Yeah, he opened for him on this last tour as well.
Okay, cool. Maybe it was the same tour. Interesting.
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite album?
I mean, I gotta go Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
That's right.
Just out of respect, you know what I mean? Like when I found that album, that changed my life, to be honest.
You're very frusciante.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe in your guitar playing, not in your self-destructive ways.
I remember Ray Marte once, like we recorded something, and someone was just like, "Oh, how did it come out?" And he was just like, "It was great. John Frusciante played guitar on it," and I was just like,
As a compliment.
"Yeah," but I guess
I like John Frusciante. I think he's cool. I like his solo stuff.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I was super excited when it was announced that he got back into the band, but then no one got to see that happen because of who's Justin? Describe my new album in 3 words. Blood, sweat, tears.
Nice.
And that's a fact. That's a fact. Dude, the roller coaster of emotions. The roller coaster of emotions, man. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for the question. I don't know who that was, but that's fine. That's nice.
Jen Pelly asked, okay, what Massapequa aligned show changed your life the most?
Massapequa Alliance?
Aligned, like what along the, I guess, associated with the Massapequa scene. I mean, all those Village Pub South shows, maybe like the Rabbit Hole release show. I was so excited for that. The lead up to that, knowing people who made an album, and I don't know if you remember, Ultimate Guitar reviewed it and said it was great, and I was like, I can't believe it. I go on that website all the time to look up Green Day tabs. This is the most insane thing.
I do remember that. That was crazy. And then like just recently when Moontooth put out Crux, there was a piece in Rolling Stone, and they mentioned Exemption, and I was like, yo, what?
Really? That's so sick.
I
think the first time I saw Fastizio perform,
you remember?
I'm trying to remember.
You were supposed to play Jeanette Jam one year, but then you couldn't do it. I think you and well, you are Matt. You and Brian were supposed to do it, but yeah, there was a lot. I mean, that's why it's like, it's upsetting with these venues closing, and hopefully that trend doesn't continue. But DIY, and I don't mean DIY in the hipster sense of like, hey, you're not cool enough to be here. I mean DIY in the sense of you and your friends getting together, and your band's playing together, and someone's having a party, someone's basement, someone's living room, that sort of thing. Like, I think like hopefully that will. I don't think that'll ever go away, but. Yeah, man. I mean, it's funny, like, how much time we've been talking about those times, and I think it's because it was so important for both of us. It's a formative.
It was high school, and in so many ways, I remember going into high school feeling like I didn't even know if popularity was a thing, but. I was doing theater. On Long Island, especially Massapequa, you had 2 options. You could do sports or theater. Right. And theater was like its own little weird thing that, because we had such famous alumni, had a little bit of heat under it, with a little bit of money. I remember we did Les Mis one year, which is really hard for high schoolers to pull off. But I was in that production. But it was not, like, cool. Like, the sports guys were cool. But then I found... through music, I found the circle of people who were driven. You guys, everybody practiced so hard and wrote such great songs that I think are so advanced for your years. Mm-hmm. And like those Exemption songs would go on for 10 minutes, and I'd be like, how do they come up with all this stuff? I can barely come up with one riff. Yeah. And it was just, for whatever reason, Mike McManus, Nick Lee, you guys just, I'm thinking guitar players, Tom Moran, you guys just had some type of mojo in a bottle.
Tom's got some great stuff about to drop. I'm
so excited.
Yeah, he's got, I don't know when he'll announce it when he's ready, but I've been kind of working with him a little bit behind the scenes, just getting like his ducks in a row in terms of, putting a release strategy together so he can kind of put one thing out and then capitalize on that and build momentum, as opposed to just putting something out there. Because this experience with Gamblers has taught me kind of like how to go about that a lot better than in the past, like with a Fastizio or Helicopter Goes Kaboom or something like that. But Tom, I know he's obviously both very he's close to both of us, and yeah, the stuff that he has coming out, it's a mix of old and new songs, and he's got like some really amazing videos, and I'm excited for him. He sent me a song that he mixed the other day, and like he started like fucking around on Pro Tools like 2 weeks ago or some shit. It sounds
yeah.
fun.
He always had like a vintage mixer.
Yes,
which
so that mixer has been through the ringer. Like that mixer lived with me for a couple of years in the city. Like then it was Tom's originally. Then I had it. Then it went back to Tom. He recorded Mr. Brain on there, which is like a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's online anymore, but Tom, if you're still watching, please put Mr. Brain up online again, because that album, there was one night or one afternoon where he said, I just wrote this song, and he played on guitar all those stories for me, and I was just like, I don't think I've had, it was an audience of one, and just this song that it's haunting how good that song is, Tom, if you're still watching. And please, I think you're doing everyone, if it's not online, you're doing everyone a disservice. It should be.
You put me on this song. You put me on the Fountains of Wayne, man.
Oh boy, well, I love Fountains, and that's been one of the hardest parts about COVID, is everybody who's gotten sick. Luckily a lot of people are recovering from it, but yeah, the Adam Schlesinger, who I always would say, like, if I could work with one person, it would be Adam Schlesinger.
Yeah.
He's so good. Everything that he touches, outside of Fountains of Wayne, the Josie and the Pussycat soundtrack is, out of this world. Just the Girl by Click 5. He did the song from That Thing You Do.
Yes.
He did the song from Music and Lyrics. He's so good at pop hooks. And if everybody watching has not dug into Fountains of Wayne, may I suggest Welcome Interstate Managers?
Yes.
And then going back to the beginning and listening to everything. I just think Welcome Interstate Managers, every single song on that, it's just perfect. That's maybe a 10 out of 10 record right there.
And you showed me the way that, like, you introduced, obviously I knew Stacy's mom, but when we were working on previously on Matt Bennett, we were spending a lot of time together, and we were getting like inspiration, listening to different things, like, okay, like where do we want to go with this? And one of the reference points, which we didn't end up referencing it as like a sound, but just more of like a, I don't know, like an inspiration. Was Katy Perry's version of Hackensack.
Oh man, I love that version.
Which is fucking sick.
It's so good. I just recorded a cover of Hackensack with the Shintaro, the producer that I'm working with, Shintaro Yasuda. Everybody, click the link.
That's not out, is it?
No, it was just
God, dude.
Post Thank Me Next. We did a session, and I'm like, can I just really fast get this guitar part down? Just when I finish it, just as a little tribute. It's just one of these songs that come out of nowhere. Nothing else sounds like Hackensack. And the lyrics are so spot on. It's a real shame.
I love lyrics that
sad we lost
so,
them.
Like the lyrics are so direct. Like that song would have been a great song even if he just phoned in the lyrics with like some like random like la-di-da like love thing. You'd still be like, oh man, this tune is sick. But the fact that it's kind of a love song, but it's also like kind of dark and like the very hyper specific like the hyper specific lyrics make it like just that way. You know what I mean?
It's elegiac, but at the same time not sad. It's so filled with this sad nostalgia. Oh, seeing this person that you love talking to Christopher Walken on TV, being a celebrity while you're sweeping floors. It's such a specific idea, and it's not just I want to hold your hand. It takes you through the story of this guy's internal monologue, thinking about this person, but still wishing the best for them. But the chorus, if you ever get back to Hackensack, I'll be there for you. Especially a lot of those songs ring more true for me as I get older. And the farther I move from home, both physically and in time, just the farther I've been from who I was, what I was back then, songs like that actually stand out more, mean more to me. What is the first piece of music that made your head explode and introduced you to your favorite genre from Selzag? I'm way back up in the questions.
Cool. How do you see these questions? I guess.
I've been scrolling.
Oh, okay.
If you've seen me do this,
it's
because I've been scrolling.
Gotcha. Cool.
First piece of music that made my head explode. I don't know, like All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople when I was a kid. You know, there's certain imagery that I remember hearing as a kid. All Star by Smash Mouth. You know, your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. Always just kind of stood out to me. And also, All That Glitters Is Gold. I don't know. There's every lyric from that song was like unraveling a puzzle. Or, you know, like, it was a puzzle for me.
I would not have guessed Smash Mouth, I have to be honest.
But I also liked, my dad, one of the first songs I ever liked, I liked Rebel Rebel. You got your mother in a whirl, not sure if you're a boy or a girl. I remember being like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What? Not sure? How can you not be sure?
Exactly.
And then, of course, as you get older, you're like, the whole gender bendy, you know, David Bowie, you know, he looked like this day and that the next day. You know, it made more sense. But as a kid, those two gave me pause. Anyway, what's yours, Mike?
Well, I have this very particular early memory of, and I always kind of like, this is always my reference of when I'm like, all right, I know that music affects me in a way that, you know, I almost can't even describe. But I remember being in the back of like my mom's car or my dad's car. I can't remember. We were going somewhere. I was maybe like 3, and there was a song on the radio, and the song was "You Don't Bring Me Flowers Anymore."
Nope.
The song was "You Don't Bring Me Flowers Anymore." I think it's Kenny Rogers. I can't even remember. But I started like hysterical crying in the back seat. Like I was just like, you know, like it's so sad. Like the guy's not bringing the girl flowers anymore. And like I actually made up a lie because I didn't understand my emotions yet. So I didn't understand that I knew that the song was making me cry, but I didn't understand that that's a common like thing that's okay. You know what I mean? So I ended up saying to my parents that I felt car sick, and that's why I was crying. Because I was actually embarrassed to say that the song's words were making me cry.
Wow.
Because, you know, like I just didn't have the capacity to get that emotional, like why that was happening. Like when you're a kid and like you're experiencing things for the first time and you're like, am I a freak? Is this normal? So I guess like that's kind of my earliest memory of like music, quote unquote, blowing my mind. And the way that it did was it made me, you know, overcome with emotion.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that music has that power where it can stop you in your tracks. If you hear the right song at the right time and it just tickles that brainstem where you're like, I didn't know this was possible. There are so many moments in music like that. You know, this is a tiny one. I love this. I found out about them in Massapequa from my hardcore punk friends. This band Graf Orlock. You know, they're hardcore punk. They one of their EPs ends with them playing like really heavy distorted guitars over the Jurassic Park theme song. And I was like, you can do that? I couldn't believe it. I was like 15, 16 at the time, and it blew my mind. I couldn't believe that, you know, you could do anything. Nothing was sacred. There's also this song. My favorite album of the 2010s is Benji by Sun Kill Moon. I don't know if you've listened to that one, but it opens with.
My friend Derek was very high on them.
It opens with the song Carissa, which I won't ruin. I wouldn't even particularly recommend people listen to it. It is the most blunt and sad song of all time. But I was like, I can't believe that you can do this. I never thought that you could just sit down and write a diary entry into a song. And now the new Microphones album is basically a Sun Kill Moon record. The new Taylor Swift album is basically a Sun Kill Moon record. We're getting so confessional with our music. Yeah. It's a beautiful place to be in. You know, people being their true selves. You know, the closer that we can get to each other, you know, your fan base, your audience, the more people are opening themselves up. Do it in moderation. Don't completely live your life online, but
Yeah.
this new area where people feel this closeness to fans has led to some interesting art. I'm still not sure if it's perfect or not, but it's an interesting place.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of like for me when I think of songwriting now, particularly for gamblers, it's like I want to give people something that's personal, but not sacrificing like melody or song, like a good song. You know what I mean? Like, and that like that's why Hack and Sack to me is like such a perfect song, because it's letting you in on a world that's personal, but the melody is just like to die for. I mean,
Right.
that's why like the Beach Boys are like always my favorite. I mean, and the Beach Boys generally they use a lot more kind of hacky lyrics, but it's almost like when
But it works. It works so
it works.
perfectly.
And when it's coming from Brian Wilson, it makes it so much better, because you could tell he's just like, this is what humans think like like I don't know, it makes it like more palatable when they just come out with like, hey man, like check out my car, and like getting a cheeseburger with the chicks, like,
Right.
because it's just like some crazy dude just like, cheeseburger car. I enjoy that. Plus the melodies are like fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, you can have both, but if you can't have both, you gotta have one or the other. You gotta have to have Beach Boys' insane, pristine melodies or lyrical content that's out of this world. Because I've always had problems with harmonies. I come from such a blues, not like blues rock. Like, my family was Stones, Bob Dylan, Lou Reed, and everything flowing down from Elvis Costello. Elvis has great harmonies and everything, but Bob he can be so atonal or all over the place with his delivery. Lou Reed is so sloppy sometimes, especially in his live recordings with his delivery. It's all over the place. So now as I've gotten older, I've had to retrain my brain to listen and hear stuff, hear the Beach Boys for how complicated the songs are, as opposed to songs about "it's my car." And when you realize just how sophisticated those songs are and what they're pulling off, you're like, I don't care what the songs are. If it could be about a car, it could be about a "Help Me Rhonda."
Yes.
Just that over and over and over again. It's Surfer Girls.
Mm-hmm.
This is so sophisticated what they're pulling off, especially for their time, where you couldn't go online and look up "How to Beach Boys" on YouTube and have 40,000 hits. They had to come up with it themselves and figure it out, and it's made me appreciate and also, once again, intersections with a microphone. Being in the studio and seeing just how much of it is by chance. Like, well, what if we put the microphone over here? What if we recorded this in the hallway? I mean, those chance occurrences, that's what makes those records so timeless. The fact that there was no way to recreate it. You couldn't go down to Guitar Center and buy a stomp box that would do all this stuff for you. So I don't know if we're staying on topic. I don't know if there is a topic. I apologize to everybody if we're completely ranting. But yeah, those are great.
Yeah. I think you bring up a good point, which is like, when you get into the studio, you never know what's going to happen. And like, that's a philosophy that I've like really been into the last few years, especially recently. But just the fact that like, just go to the studio, like just make a plan to go to the studio, because it's better than not being in the studio. And you're going to write something, and like, maybe it'll not be so great, but maybe it'll be like your best thing that you've ever done. Like, literally, like, that's not a joke. Like, you can go. You can just be like, oh, it's a Tuesday. Like, just go to the studio, because you don't know what's going to happen. But speaking of the studio, I have to go to the studio and drop off keys for someone who is coming into my thing. I have to be there at 10 o'clock, and I realized.
Oh, this was going so well.
It is. We should do this again, man. I wasn't sure like, what to expect. Like, I just started. I guess you're hosting this one. Oh, by the way, can you try to save this and send it to me? Because I wanted to upload these to YouTube. I'm hoping the first part got saved and is on my phone, but I don't think I'll be able to save this one because you're technically hosting it now.
Yeah.
Is this going to your phone, or how do you have your phone?
Yeah, Yeah, this is just on my cell phone,
Okay, cool.
not my
So
landline.
not your landline.
No.
So if you could send it to me, that'd be awesome. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, fuck it. Like this was fun. This is something that like I said, we're doing this. Our record's coming out on the 25th. We wanted to do something different. We're doing this live show at Adventureland to no audience. We're just gonna film it and put it out there. And then we're talking to like the team, and actually part of the people, part of our team is Missing Peace Group. They've been in here tonight. I love you guys. They actually worked really closely with Adam Schlesinger for a while.
Wow.
So I can't wait to hear some stories from them about him. But they suggested that we start doing some live streams, and they're like, oh yeah, let us know who you're thinking for guests. And I was a little like, shit, I never really thought about that. And then you were the first person I reached out to, and you were down to do it. So
Yeah. I'm just, it's always good to chat with you. We always have so much to talk about, and it's, once again, as I get older and farther from home, I just think about those experiences where in the moment you didn't realize that it was going to stick with you so many years later, but it turns out to be, these are the important things. The friends and the memories that you make together, especially in those young formative years, it was important to me, and I'm happy that we could talk it out, relive it, with an audience, and hopefully it sheds a little light. Hopefully it brings some attention to gamblers, and also hopefully it brings some attention to Festizio and Exemption and Moontooth and Tom Moran and who else? We got so many from the local scene.
Not that you're doing better than all of us put together. We all know that. But what are you currently working on, like, that you want to let people know about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I put out "Thank Me Next," my cover album. You could go check that out. It's all up on YouTube. It's also on my Instagram. In the meantime, I'm hoping to start DJing on Twitch sometime soon, and also making more music and putting it out. It seems like Instagram has been the best venue for that. So keep your eye on my Instagram. And hopefully when the entertainment industry opens back up, I'll have a new project for you.
Yeah, hire this guy. Get the Goldbergs guy.
Please do. Yeah, get Goldbergs. Just hire me already, please. I love your show.
I love you, man. Thank you for doing this.
Love you, Mike. All right. Have your rest of your night.
Text me this, please. Save it to your
phone. All right.
All right.
Do that.
I'll see you, man.
Right. See ya.